Yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Devon Terrell in raw form. And today, in this Help Me Devon raw tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to mix Roddy Ricch type vocals or more modern day rap sing vocals that you're accustomed to hearing in modern day hip hop or R&B for that matter. I chose Roddy Ricch because I'm a big fan of his music and I'm also a big fan of how his vocals sound. I'm going to show you how I got this vocal sound right here. Let's get right to it. Listen closely. This is the vocal that I'm trying to get you guys to have.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app.
Okay, so you hear that vocal. It's upfront, it's present, it's bright, it's very aggressive, but it still feels very clean and crisp. I'm gonna show you exactly how I got this vocal. Now, I'd be remiss and I wanna give you guys a surprise. This vocal is, or this template is now available in my description as we speak right now for FL Studio, for Pro Tools, for Ableton, and for Logic. Right now, you can follow along with me. You can get the template and you can follow along with me as far as learning how this template and everything works, but this template is available to you right now in the description. Let's get right to it. I'm still gonna show you how I got this vocal to sound this way. Let's do it. Okay, so let's go on over to our lead vox, right? And I'll show you, basically, I'll go down the chain of how I started this lead vocal. So obviously Roddy Ricch's vocal inspired me to make my own type vocal in his vein as far as what his sounded like. So of course, we'll move on over here. I wanted more of an auto-tune sound for this. So of course, I moved on over to my auto-tune EFX. I had the retune speed at about a 15. That way I get a little bit of that digital sound. And also I have the input type. This is very important. A lot of people miss this with the auto-tune. There's a few different settings. You can have it to soprano, alto, low male. I've noticed that alto sounds a little bit better for me personally. I've also found times where low male sounds a little better. So it's important to actually experiment with that. Give it a try next time you do. Okay, next thing I do, very, very important, and I'll take all of this stuff off and I'm gonna show you my subtractive EQing. Now, a lot of you guys have watched my videos in the past. You know that I like to do a lot of subtractive EQing, and the reason is because it helps me get rid of problem frequencies. A lot of us don't have the liberty to have these very, very acoustically treated rooms. And this is this is the place where I kind of combat that. I like to attack this first and foremost. Now, each person is different for each room, but for mine, this is what was perfect for me as far as subtractive EQing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a before and after of the vocal. Listen closely. So first without, and then I'll play it with it. So I'll keep bypassing it back and forth. Listen close. 1 second. Here we go.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So if you listen to that vocal a little closely, you'll notice that a lot of the mud disappears. You'll notice that it actually sounds a little brighter. Now, obviously, I'm not boosting any EQ. I'm subtracting. I tell you guys all the time, when you subtract, you can get brightness out of the vocal when you just do subtractive EQing. So a little bit of subtractive EQ in there to really tame those problem frequencies that I didn't like. For instance, I'll show you how I did it. I'll play this right quick and I'm gonna boost this to the very top and I'm gonna let you hear what was there. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah.
So it was a little bit of a boxy sound that I didn't like and I pulled that right out. I'll move over to another band just to show you another example of it. Listen closely.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy.
You really could feel that vocal get a little bit smoother. It was this very hollow sound, like it felt like a paper cup was covering the vocal. Although you may not have heard it, I know that when I start boosting with compressors and other things, I know those elements are going to be brought out. So what I like to do is I like to tame those before it actually happens. This is all in the template available in the description below. Okay. Next thing I like to attack is I like to use some DeEssing. And I like to do this before I even start compressing or anything like that. Like I said, I like to get rid of the problems that I know I'm going to run into when I start boosting with compressors, etc. So that's why I run over to this right here. So I do a lot of de-essing in a very specific band. It's at this 4,237 hertz range. I cannot stand this range. This range is what I call the pain frequency. It's really that 3K range that this is attacking, but I notice it's a little bit of a sweet spot right here. So I attack this frequency range just to get rid of that frequency, because I know when I start compressing and bringing it out, it's going to start becoming jarring on your ear. Listen closely before, and then I'll keep passing it back and forth.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So I can hear when I have it bypassed, there's a frequency in there that I could tell if it goes on for too long, it'll probably start to get annoying and I probably won't want to hear it. And this is that frequency that I always feel like in more amateur recordings where it's a little jarring to the ear, where people kind of just tune out and don't even know why. I like to take this frequency out. I like to tame it and make sure it's controlled so that when I start boosting, I want to boost only the good stuff, not the bad. This is why I'm doing all this subtractive type of processing now. Okay. Next thing I run on over to is my SSL channel, E channel. And the only thing I'm using on this right here is the EQ section. So what I'm doing is I'm boosting a little bit at the 11 hertz range, which is a little bit of its brightness. I am taking out more of that 3 kilohertz range. And then I'm taking out some of that low mid range where I felt like it was a little boxy. And then I'm taking out even more of the low end. So I'll play it for you. I'll bypass it back and forth and let you get an idea of what it sounds like. So without first, and then I'll keep bypassing back and forth. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So it's weird because when you listen to that vocal, you didn't even think to yourself or realize, like, it sounds like the vocal was like stuck in this little box here, like very covered. But this EQ that we just applied to it really took off and uncovered all of that stuff. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, the body of the vocal's gone. Guess what? We're gonna bring that back in. But what we did was we got rid of a lot of those frequencies that we know is gonna compete. In modern day hip hop, we all know how prominent and how important the low end is. So I like to make sure there's a lot of space for that and make sure my vocal is sitting up high or in a good space away from that stuff that it doesn't compete. So that's why I did a lot of subtractive EQing in the low mid area. I took some more out of that frequency that I just dislike completely, and I gave it a little bit of a vocal boost as far as the high end is concerned. So that's all I did. I know it sounds thinner, but we're gonna bring some of that back. Okay, next thing I did was I applied compression. Now this compressor I usually use to bring the volume. This is what I bring in my volume. So obviously, if you're thinking about gain station, you say, well, it got louder. Yes, we are about to make this vocal louder. Why? Because I need it to get louder in order to be at a level with that 2-track beat that I'm mixing it over. Unfortunately, I only have access to the 2-track beat. So that's what you have to deal with. So right now we're gonna bring out the volume of the actual vocal, and we're gonna do some good heavy lifting on that first compressor. So listen closely.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
Okay, so if you listen to that vocal, it got louder. And this is what I told you. Like I said, this compressor I'm using to get some volume out of it, because now I'm going to take this vocal, this nice vocal with all the problem frequencies that I took out, and I'm going to start to make it even better with the processing. So you'll see that I put extremely slow attack on it and an extremely fast release. And the reason why I did this is because I really wanted that vocal to shine through. I didn't want to bother those transients. I just wanted to get some loudness, and I wanted to tame a little bit of those quiet parts to be louder and those louder parts to be a little quieter. So I wanted to make a little bit of a more concise vocal, but I like to use multiple compressors to do more than one job, as opposed to just slapping one compressor on, making it crank it to heck, and basically, you know, using only one compressor. I like it to do multiple jobs. And I feel like when I give different compressors different jobs to attack different issues, then it works a lot better and it makes for a better vocal. So that's why this is just one compressor of many that I put on this vocal chain. Okay, so we're moving on over. So now I'm moving on over to the C4. This is a multi-band compressor. What I'm doing with the multi-band compressor is this, with the C4. All I'm doing is trying to balance a tone. I'm trying to create and shape the tone of the actual vocal that's in the song. So I'm using this to shape the tone. So you'll see over here that I'm attacking this frequency range, which is up here, which is 1,000 hertz and above. I'm attacking that entire frequency range as a whole. I'm attacking the 588 hertz frequency range to the 1,000 hertz right in between, as you can see right there, and then I'm attacking the low end. So I'm taking those three bands really, and I'm just creating a sound where it's compressing those individually a different way to give me the best sound or shape the tone to my liking. So listen closely, I'll bypass back and forth without first.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
Okay, so if you listen to that, you can notice the vocal feels so much more present. It feels like that top end just got a lot more presence to it. It feels like it has a lot more bite, and that's exactly what I want out of the vocal. You'll notice if you look at the multi-band, how I did it and what bands I attacked and I felt like were important. And basically, I used that to shape my tone. So I like that tone that I got. And that's what I ran with for this multi-band compressor. So use the multi-band compressor really to find the shape of the tone of how you want this vocal to more or less sound, okay? Next thing I moved on over to an RBox. Now, let me be honest with you and tell you something. When it comes to modern day hip hop vocals, a lot of time they are over compressed. So don't stress yourself. A lot of times I know that you guys are probably mixing and saying, man, that's so much compressing. Just listen to it in context to the song. And that's the best thing I could tell you. Don't worry about how it sounds by itself, because that's not what people are going to listen to. They're going to listen to this vocal, to this sound in context with music. So always refer back to how does this sound overall? Remember, when you're mixing vocals, you're not just mixing vocals to mix vocals. You're mixing a song. You're mixing something to sound sonically tight or sonically a certain way in a song. So that's what I want you to keep in mind as far as compression and things of that nature. It just so happens for this particular vocal sound, I like the slightly overcompressed sound that it created. And I'm gonna show you how to combat that as well. Listen closely. So I'm gonna bypass this first, and then I'll put it back on and let you get an idea of this compressor. This is an RBox compressor. Listen closely without first.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So you can hear that vocal. It feels like it is ripping through things. It's really, really strong. It's super heavy. And I know what you're noticing. Hey, there's a lot of S's and T's. We're gonna fix that. That's fine. I hear those things, and those things are very easy to fix. But nonetheless, I like how the vocal feels. It feels aggressive. It feels mean, and I'm rocking with it so far. So I'm using the RBox. This is basically like a limiter for a vocal. It's a very powerful compressor. I've seen a ton of different engineers use it, like 40 Shabib, etc. This plugin is really, really sick when it comes to just using compression on vocals and stuff like that. So this is one of my mini compressors in my vocal chain. Next, we have one of my most important compressors, and that is my R compressor for this vocal. Now, with this vocal, I really find the pocket of where the vocal actually is supposed to live within the music. So I'm gonna play this in the context with the music before and after and let you get an idea of what it sounds like. So without first, and then I'll play it with. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that, yeah. Throw out the whole damn year, 2020 play me, yeah. Every time you hear a nigga cough,
Okay, now in that vocal, I can actually turn this up and actually try to match that volume and get it to even sound even better. So listen closely to this. I'm gonna play a bypass and I'm gonna match those volumes, because remember, we should try to gain stage as we go down. So watch this. So without first, and then I'm gonna match those volumes. Listen closely.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that, yeah.
So if you listen to that, now that I've matched the volumes, you'll notice that the vocal sounds a lot tighter when I throw on the compression. When I throw on the compression, you can feel the vocals sit in a better place. Now, that's a thing that you have to teach yourself with your ears, to not let loudness trick you. I actually, when you see that I had it bypassed when I didn't actually turn up the gain, you felt like, oh, well, the vocal felt like it got lower, but really it did sound better in context with the music if you just matched the volume because of that volume change. So this was something I just wanted to show you a trick as far as don't let your brain fool you on this is louder so it's better. That was actually quieter, but it was better. But when I matched the volume just to get you to hear what it sounded like, it sounded great, and it actually did sound better and more tight and more concise when it came to the music. So don't let your ears fool you. That's why it's a good thing to always match volumes and check to see if it's there. But for the purpose of this video, I'll leave this right here and I'll keep this going for now. Okay. So next thing that I did, and I'll show you this right here, is I went right here to this and I used it. This is my baby right here. Also, with that last example I showed you, none of the effects was on. None of the compression, none of the long verb, short verb, doubler, none of that stuff was on. We'll get to that. Don't worry. I just left it very dry for you just to hear what the vocal sounds like so far. Okay. Now, this next thing I got right here is this. I have a Saturn, and all the fat filter Saturn is analog saturation. So any analog saturation that you have, this is something that will actually change the way that the vocal sounds, and it adds analog saturation, newer harmonics to the vocal, as well as all kinds of tones and sonic sounds to your vocal. So for me, I went with this one right here. And what I like to do is I like to boost the top half of the vocal. And the only reason is because it opens the vocal up. I'll just play it for you and give you an idea. So this is before, and then I'll play you after. Now, for the purpose of this video, I will turn on the DeEsser just for you because this is getting louder as we go along. And I knew that as I boosted that there would be more brightness. There's more things. And the way I combat that is I de-ess at the end. So for now, I'll just turn on the DeEsser so it can be there, and then I'll explain. But for now, just take a listen to this Fab Filter Saturn and what I did with the analog saturation to the vocal. Listen close without first.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So when I turn on that Fab Filter Saturn, you'll notice the vocal sounds a lot more excited. You'll notice that it actually opens up a little bit, and it just sounds like it's going to just pop right through that mix. Better yet, I'd rather play it for you. So this is it on the mix. Remember, this is a dry vocal. I'm not playing it with any sounds or anything like that. I'm just going to play you it in context with the music like this. So bypass first, listen close. I'll keep popping it back and forth.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that, yeah. Throw out the whole damn year, 2020 play me, yeah.
So you can clearly see that thing cuts right through the mix as soon as I had it on. Now, when I had it solo by itself with the vocal, you may have said, well, I kind of like how it sounded without it. But when I played it in context with the music, boy, was there a huge difference. Boy, did it cut through the mix. And this is why I want you guys to constantly try not to mix vocals solo, because just because it sounds good soloed and just by itself doesn't mean that it's going to sound good in context with the music. Now, with the music, that thing cuts right through. It's super presentful and it sounds great. Let's move right along. So with the other two plugins that I have here, it's very basic. I won't even have to go over them. That's the MV2, which is super awesome. It's an upward compression. I'll save that for another day because that can be very confusing to what it is. And I have another EQ, and this EQ basically is just boosting a little bit of frequencies, just here and there, just a very slight thing. I'll show you right now, so I'll play it for you with and without. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah.
So I wanted a little bit more body into it, so I added a little bit at those frequencies. You'll notice at about that 500 hertz range that I boosted a little bit of that sound a little bit. I'll play you it solo actually so you can hear what frequency I kind of boosted a little bit.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop.
So right there in that frequency range, I felt like it was missing a little bit of body. It sounds like a cold kind of body, and I wanted to boost just a little bit of that. So I like to put a last minute EQ at the very end of my chain just to say, okay, well, what is the vocal missing in context with the song? So for instance, let's take the solo off. Let's listen to it with and without. Remember, there are no effects on this as of yet as far as the verb and all of those bells and whistles. That's a very important step I'm gonna show you to really make this thing stand out. So I'll keep bypassing back and forth. Listen to this.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that.
Yes, so if you listen to that very closely, you could tell that that vocal gets a lot more presence, and there's certain frequencies that get boosted that you can really hear cut through, and you feel like the vocal gets even more upfront in your face. So last but not least, of course, like I told you, you can use any de-esser, de-ess your vocals. It's very important to make sure that you de-ess your vocals so that you're not hurting people's ears or just not too bright. Make sure you reference mix as well, just to make sure you can see where you stand when it comes to your de-esser as far as the brightness of the vocal. Now let's add the bells and the whistles. Now let's add the texture. And that's what I always like to say. I always like to look at it as the texture of the vocals when it comes to effects, when it comes to reverbs, delays, and all those types of things. You have to look at it as texture. So what textures do you want to add? So for me, I'll do it really fast. I'll go right through it. So for me, I have a parallel compressor. And like I told you guys in other tutorials, I won't go so in depth as far as what parallel compression is. You should know, or look in the description below. I have a video there. I add parallel compression to this vocal, and all the parallel compression is a smashed version of the vocal that is being blended in to create a more concise sound, a sound that sounds a lot more meaner, that kind of stands out a little more and gives it more power. So I'll play it for you before and after with the parallel compressor. Listen closely, and this is in context with the music, so you'll see me mute this track on and off. So without first.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that, yeah.
So basically what that parallel compression is doing is adding this ball of audio right into it. And remember, this is just a copy of the vocal that we're busing out to a parallel compressor that is making that we're smashing it. I'm talking about a hard ratio, like a limiter, and we're taking it and we're blending it to taste to that vocal. As you can see, I had it right here around this right here with the actual knob. I got it right there to that corner. And I was like, that sounds just about right. And that's where I put it. So obviously, if you have the template, you can follow along with me. You can see exactly what the settings are to actually get it there. But remember, parallel compression, super important. Okay, next thing we're gonna move on over to is this long verb. And actually, let's move on over to the short verb, because that's what I like to add first. Now, you're saying, what the heck is the short verb? All the short verb is a plate verb. And I always like to use plate verbs for my vocals because it allows my vocal, it takes off that dryness of the vocal, that digital to such a digital sound where it just sounds hard and just dry. And it gives it a little bit of a sense of space. So listen closely to my plate verb on this vocal. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So plate verbs are very important to me. I use it pretty much on all my vocals, and a lot of rap vocals have plate verbs. A lot of people say, well, there's no reverb on vocals. You're so wrong. There's reverb on these vocals. I'm telling you, it's just masked very well, or they just sound correct. And that's the best type of reverbs, when you don't even realize that they're there. If I play this in context to the song, you may not even notice it's there, but if I keep bypassing it back and forth, you'll listen and say, well, yeah, I can feel a difference. So I'm gonna bypass it back and forth without first.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here. And I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah. I don't wanna shake nobody's hand, even if we cool, get the cash app. You can even pay to keep yourself up in the school. Gotta run it online just to pass that, yeah.
Now, I know a lot of you are saying this. I don't really hear anything, but I feel something. And that's what matters the most. I'm telling you right now. It's not about always, I hear it, I can hear it. But it's just like, something felt better. And to me, the vocal just felt better. I felt like I can hear a little bit of that space get added to the vocal, and that's what's important to me. It felt better. And that's what I use these plate verbs for, to basically put the vocal in a more, I don't want to say realistic space, but in a space that is more believable as opposed to a dry vocal. Okay, and what I use is, I use my PCM vintage plate right here to get my plate vocals, but you can use any plate verb to actually accomplish that type of stuff. Just pick any plate verb and see what happens and vibe with it. Okay, next thing I do is add a long verb, and the reason why is because I just felt like this song should have a darker vocal, a vocal that feels a little bit more evil. So that's what I used. I wanted this upfront vocal to sit back just a little bit and really just feel like it's just this dark kind of presence. And that's why I say, I come back to mixing. You're mixing, and when you use your effects, you're trying to create textures. You're trying to create atmosphere, and you're trying to create vibes. So that's why I like to think about it in essence. When I'm trying to create a dark vocal, I'm trying to make a big verb. I like big verbs on dark vocals because they should feel like they're floating and things of that nature. So listen to this by itself right quick, and I'll let you hear it. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop, and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh.
So on those big moments like lazy, it just feels like it just rings off, and it just feels really dope. Now I'll play it in context with the music so you can get an idea for what it sounds. I'll keep bypassing it back and forth so you can get an idea of what it's accomplishing in the actual song. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop, and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So it makes a huge difference in just how the vocal feels. I feel like it finds more of its life, or it finds more of where it lives with the long verb when the long verb is engaged. Now also for my FL Studio users, for my Ableton users, for my Logic Pro X users, this is available for you in the description, and it's set up the same exact way as far as the long verb, the short verb, and things of that nature. And when you're doing it, you can replace these verbs with your favorite verbs. Just make sure that your short verb is a plate verb because those have shorter reverb times, and your long verbs are more like concert halls or cathedrals, big reverbs that you can blend in with your vocals. So this is available to you in the description below. Okay. One of the last things that I'll show you is this doubler effect. And this doubler effect is very important, and I'll tell you why. What the doubler is doing is, especially in this particular song, is it's giving my lead vocal a sense of stereo, a stereo feel. And what I'm doing is this. I'm taking a copy of this vocal, busting it out to my doubler plugin. And within my doubler plugin, I am adding two vocals. And basically, when I send that copy out, it's creating two vocals that are sitting side by side. And I'm basically taking that and blending that to taste with my lead vocal. So my lead vocal's here, and then I have the doubler, and I'm pushing the doubler up. Do you see what's happening? I'm basically creating two extra vocals that are feeling like it'll create a more stereo feel to your lead vocal. And this actually will give your vocal a little bit more volume. You'll notice it'll cut through a little more, and you'll notice sometimes that it gets a little bit smoother. So this is a preset that I personally have created for my doubler plugin that I bust it out to. Keep that in mind. I also have a little trick on the S1 imager with my doubler. Check it out. All right, so this is the doubler plugin. So I'll play it for you with and without in context by itself. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop, and we just lost pop. Smoking the deal with the fear. I don't see a plane taking off out of here, and I just been stuck in the crib for a minute. I'ma get lazy, yeah. Oh no, you won't see me, even if you pay me, yeah.
So the feeling is kind of slight, but nonetheless, what I hear is I feel like that vocal goes here and goes up here when I actually engage it. It adds a little bit more of that stereo feel. I can literally feel it right here, like the vocal just cuts up right here, and it adds this big stereo feel to the actual vocal. After that, I obviously add just a little bit of a delay just to let the vocal kind of tail off a little bit. I'll let you listen to this right quick. Listen close.
Feel like I'm living in the box. Tell me when the shit gon' stop, and we just lost pop.
So it's a very slight delay, but it's there, and it kind of gives you something to hang on to. And I like that in the vocal because it kind of dances, etc. with it. Now, once again, like I told you guys before, this template is available to at the moment, it's available to Pro Tools users, Ableton users, Logic X users, as well as FL Studio users. For FL Studio, I know a lot of you guys may not use a lot of external plugins from Waves or anything. So there is a stock version available for my FL Studio users, just in case you're trying to get your feet wet. Now, it's very, very close to what we've created as far as this one is concerned, but there is a version within the FL Studio users that you guys can use that is identical to this one right here that will get you this sound. And it sounds amazing, and we tested it, and it sounds really great in the other programs too. So I think that's all I want to show you guys. Obviously, within the template also, or within this, there is background vocals that are set. Obviously, the presets are all there. You've heard them as many times as I'll play this. You can listen to them again just to listen back and see what the backgrounds sound like. They're there for you. You can keep duplicating them as much as you want. Also within it, I have something called a big parallel comp, and all that is a parallel compressor that you can add to the entire mix. If you look at the README file, you'll notice and you'll understand how to use it. It's really, really powerful trick. I want you guys to try and use it if you can. And then there's an ad-lib track, of course, that's there. My biggest suggestion when it comes to, for instance, using plugins and using these tracks to record in is there's a track within for my Pro Tools users that says tracking vocal. Now, what this tracking Vox one is designed for is, it's designed for you guys to use, but to actually track on. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of that lead Vox track and that Vox aux track, because I'm trying to limit latency for you when you're recording. So you can record on this tracking Vox track and you'll be fine. It'll sound great. And then you can take that track like this, and you can move it down or up. So if you record here, after you're done, you could take this vocal and move it right down and you're good to go. But it still sounds amazing. It's literally the same settings as this vocal right here, the lead Vox, just over here and not as many, just to limit latency for you. Now, if you want to record on the lead Vox and you're just a tough person, then what I say is make inactive this Pro DS, and that goes for all my users. The Pro DS, as far as the DeEsser, it makes it's a very heavy load on your CPU. So that one right there, I always say take it off, bypass it for now. You're good. You don't need it until you are mixing anyway. This is a mixing template nonetheless. So bypass this if you try to record on it, because this thing right here causes latency. It's a very heavy loading. But at the end of the day, you can use your own DeEsser for your vocals and things of that nature to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed that tutorial. I just tried to show you guys how I like to mix more modern day rap sung vocals. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. You can download this template for all 4 of you users, FL Studio, Ableton, Logic, and Pro Tools, right in the description below at helpmedevon.info. I really do hope you guys enjoy it. This is a very powerful template. I know you guys are gonna like this. When you listen to this stuff, make sure that you have the appropriate plugins. Just look at the list and make sure you have everything required. And yeah, make sure you follow us over at helpmedevon on the Instagram. I want to give a very special shout out to L.Jean and Courtney Taylor for helping me create these templates in FL Studio and in Ableton, as well as Logic and Pro Tools, of course. And I just hope that you guys make better music, and I want you to take these templates and make them your own, you guys. Head on over to helpmedevon.info to grab yours right now today. And comment, like, subscribe. Tell me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And until next time, you guys.